Hey everybody, in this video we're going to read the next chapter of Meet the Gecko. Chapter 15, Scared Circuitless. The next morning I almost pretended I was sick. I didn't want to go to school. Not because I wanted to fake it so I could go back to Old Town and play the Gecko in Tekken 3. I was planning to go there after school. No, I was afraid to go to school because I knew Bubba was going to pound me, or poison me, or at least corner me and fumigate me with Bubba breath. Pretending to be sick seemed a whole lot safer than being hospitalized. Then my mom came in my room and said, "Good morning, honey. How's my superhero this morning?" And that's when I knew I had to go to school. Superheroes don't stay home sick, even when they really are. They go out there and take their licks. And when they're down, they get right back up and try again. What kind of superhero is afraid of bubble breath? I tried to block out the thought of Bubba's fist and his humongous size. And while I gobbled down my peanut buttered Eggo, I let my mom kid me about Sticky. She hadn't believed a word of what I'd told her the night before, and since Dad was now calling Sticky's wave a coincidence, I quit arguing. I know what I saw. So I just brushed my teeth, strapped on my backpack, and headed across the street. That doesn't mean I hung around the playground waiting to be pounded, though. No way. I did my power walk straight from the classroom. Bubba wouldn't touch me in front of the substitute. I could hang out there all day, all week. So I zoomed up the ramp and tried the door, but it was locked. I looked in the window, hoping Miss Newbie was there. She wasn't. So I power walked over to the computer lab. Same story, locked up tight. So was the library. I started sweating bullets again. Where could I go? The minute Bubba spotted me, I'd be fried like a microchip in a power surge. "Hi, Nolan," voice behind me said. My hair shot straight out. My knees buckled underneath me. I landed with a painful bump on the cement before I realized that it couldn't be Bubba. It was a girl's voice, and she'd said Nolan, not nerd. I looked up. Trinity Althofer had her mouth covered with both hands. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't mean to scare you." "That's okay," I said, trying to get up. I keep my backpack so loaded with things that it gets pretty heavy. And right now I was like a turtle stuck on its back. She put out a hand to help me, and I almost didn't take it. Superheroes don't need help from girls. But she grabbed my arm and yanked, then asked, "Did you really meet the gecko?" Uh-oh. Where'd you where'd you hear that? I asked. "Kevin and Max are going around telling everyone. They're saying Bubba saw you on the set, with a special visitor's badge and everything." She was still holding onto my arm, even though I was back on my feet. "Is it true?" Um, well, uh, maybe. Maybe? How can it maybe be true? My circuits were overloaded. I couldn't think of what to say, what to do. I looked over both shoulders like crazy. I, uh, I was just there with my dad. Because he's a reporter, right? Uh-huh. That's great. Tell me all about it. I wish you would just leave me alone. Have you seen Bubba? We're supposed to call him Alvin, remember? Yeah, I feel like getting pounded. "Nolan," she said with a scowl. "I call him Alvin all the time. Do I look pounded?" She did? Why hadn't I ever heard her do that? "No," I said. "But you're a, you know, girl." She punched me in the arm. "So what? Hey, boy, for a girl who spent her life drawing ponies, she sure punched hard." "And yeah, I saw him," she added, "down by the swings. Now tell me about being on the set." The warning bell rang, and I let out a huge sigh of relief. The substitute would unlock the room in no time. Safety was a power walk away. Trinity followed me as I zoomed along the walkway. "Why don't you want to talk about it?" she said. "Did something happen? Did you trip or fall or something? Did they kick you off the set?" My head whipped around to face her. "No, I didn't trip, and stop making fun of me." "I'm not making fun of you," she said. "I'm just, you know, wondering." Well, I'm not the one who got kicked off the set, I snapped. She raced along beside me. But you're saying you're saying someone did? All of a sudden, there was Bubba, looming large and deadly across the blacktop. He was looking at me too, and coming my way. This was it, I could tell. In a few seconds, I'd be nothing but nerd nuggets. But then the strangest thing happened. Bubba turned, no push, no punch, no threat, no breath. He just went into the classroom. Wow, Trinity whispered. He looks really different. He still looked plenty mean to me, and totally deadly. But she was right. Something was different. And tried to figure out what. It wasn't his clothes or his hair or his. He looks depressed, she said. It was the weirdest thing since quantum dots, but yes, that was it exactly. We waited a minute before going up the ramp into the classroom. Neither of us could quite believe it. Bubba Bixby depressed? Inside the classroom, the air felt totally dead, like the room was in a vacuum. Eyes were shifting around uneasily, but no one was talking. Even Miss Newby seemed to understand that something strange was going on. She just stood behind the teacher desk, looking at all of us looking at each other. Good morning, class, she finally said. Good morning, a few of us mumbled. Then she did something only a substitute would be crazy enough to do. She asked, Is everything all right, Alvin? His face was leaning on one beefy hand. He shrugged and scowled. He looked like a monster with a toothache. Alvin? She asked again. What? He snapped at her. She jerked back a little and took a deep breath and said, Would you like to, what, go to the office? He was looking a lot like that grizzly bear at the historian. No, he growled, just leave me alone. But if you. I said no. Everyone held their breath, including Miss Newby. Then, very slowly, Bubba looked over his shoulder, right at me. Why don't you kick him out? He grumbled. All heads in class turned until everyone was staring at me. I shrank lower in my seat. I wanted to hide. And Miss Newby was about to ask me something, but Trinity stood up like she was giving an oral report and said, Alvin's upset because Nolan got to meet the Gecko. The Gecko? Miss Newby asked. Shut up, pony girl, Bubba snapped. Alvin, Miss Newby scolded. Well, it's none of her stupid business, Bubba shouted. Miss Newby said, Please, Alvin, control yourself. Triple O. If you know anything about Bubba Bixby, you know that that was the complete wrong thing to say to him. And sure enough, he stood up, threw his chair over, and stomped out of the room. But not before giving me the deadliest glare I'd ever seen. Miss Newby picked up the classroom phone and called the office. And after whispering like mad for a minute, she hung up, straightened Bubba's chair, and tried to smile. Well, class, seems like we're off to a bumpy start this morning. Then she just stood there with a twitchy smile, trying to figure out what she should do next. Trinity whispered, Wow, he looked like he was about to cry. Cry? I said. He looked like he was about to kill me. Yeah, but I'm talking about underneath all that. She turned to Freddie, next to her. Hey, didn't you think he looked like he was gonna cry? Freddie scowled at her. Bubba? Cry? You're psycho, pony girl. She punched him in the arm. Don't call me psycho or pony girl, P-boy. He turned beet red and shut up. Felt like none of us would survive the day.